Music. We all know it, we all love it, and while it's often good enough on its own, there is a certain power in using it in conjunction with an already supreme video experience. Nearly every single famous moment in film, television, and gaming has an amazing soundtrack to accompany it. But I have always found a certain joy in when music is diegetic. Diegetic meaning that the music actually exists and is referenced by the people in the world in which it inhabits, as opposed to a backing track meant exclusively for the audience, or in stuff like musicals when musical numbers are often treated as a sort of Shakespearean aside to explain certain characters' feelings. But what if I told you that one of the best examples I have ever seen of diegetic music lies in not only a series that barely focuses on music in the first place, but a battle shonen at that. This is One Musical Scene, and today we are talking about One Piece. Hey everyone, I'm RVRocks, and it's that time of year yet again. For the uninitiated, YouTuber Nando v Movies puts together a mega collaboration around once a year focusing on different topics. Stuff like Marvel, X-Men, villains, and this year's subject is focusing on a topic that virtually every piece of media has, but often goes underappreciated. And that is music. Lyrical or scores, diegetic or not, One Musical Scene has a litany of different video essayists explaining why music in a scene is done particularly well. And as mentioned earlier, this is a mega collab, so anyone can participate. There are tons of other really talented creators with both orthodox and, to be honest, completely out there picks for their scenes, with videos out now. Links to the One Musical Scene playlist, Nando v Movies channel, and anything else I deem relevant will be down in the description. So if you're interested, once you're done watching this video, go off and make your own video on a different scene of your choice that uses music in an interesting way. As for me though, I am heading off to the sea. I did not have getting into One Piece on my 2022 bingo card, but somehow, someway, this series snuck up on me, and boy am I glad that it did. The story of rookie pirate Monkey D. Luffy setting sail and assembling his great pirate crew is one that has completely enamored me. So much so that I would like to make a public apology to everyone in my day-to-day life who has had to listen to me drone on about this series endlessly. Hopefully, eventually, it'll come to pass. However, my choice of One Piece for this project was not just to fuel my ever-increasing obsession with this fictional world of pirates, but rather highlight a scene that perfectly surmises the entire series using an ever-classic staple of any pirate world, the sea shanty. And this scene takes form in the first proper look at the backstory of who would become the musician of Luffy's Straw Hat Pirates, the pun-making skeleton, Brook. You see, for those who may not be familiar with the series, early One Piece has a very large focus on recruiting new people to join Luffy's pirate crew, the Straw Hats. Many arcs prior to the second half of the series involve a problem coming up that requires a new set of hands to join this cacophony of odd faces on their pirate ship. But there was always a particular focus put on recruiting a crew musician. Throughout the acquisition of a swordsman, a navigator, a sniper, a cook, a doctor, an archaeologist, and a shipwright, Luffy often prioritized finding a musician for the Straw Hat Pirates. Oftentimes to the chagrin of the rest of the crew, as a musician is arguably less important than all of those aforementioned roles. But as fate would have it, the eventual musician that Luffy was pining for this whole time would be the last person who would join our Straw Hat Pirates, or at least the last person for a while. And this musician would be known as Dead Bones Brook. Having eaten a magical devil fruit known as the Revive fruit, he has been able to live past his death as a skeleton man. And while Luffy almost immediately asks him to join the Straw Hats, Brook comes with a whole host of questions. Questions that would not be answered until the end of his introductory arc, Thriller Bark. The standard shonen activities occur, the fights are fought, the bad guys are defeated, and nothing happened, and then it's time for the end of arc festivities. Everyone's alive and well, so it's time to party. And here is where Brook decides to open up to Luffy. Brook tells the story of a young whale that his old pirate crew had basically adopted before their untimely deaths. A whale known as Laboon. Laboon was basically their pet and universally beloved by everyone on the crew. However, he tragically had to separate from the rest of them when the seas of their pirate adventures became too dangerous for a young whale to navigate. Brook continues on, telling Luffy he couldn't join the Straw Hats until he reunited with Laboon, and much to Brook's shock, Luffy tells him that this particular whale had already befriended the Straw Hats a few arcs prior. Knowing that Laboon is alive and well triggers Brook into a flashback to a time where Dead Bones Brook was known as the musician swordsman Brook. And here is where the tragedy of his tale begins to show. The Rumbar Pirates were a lively bunch, always singing and playing music, enjoying their lives to the fullest extent. But to them, there was one particular song that was held in higher regard than all the others. We get glimpses of them just hanging out, glimpses of battles, their adoption and eventual separation with Laboon, and the captain falling ill, leaving Brook as the next in command. And then Brook remembers the Rumbar Pirates' final moments. After a particularly bad battle with enemy pirates using poisoned weapons, the crew is all but dead. In their last moments, they decide to go out playing that particular song that they loved so much. In the present, Brook reveals he recorded this last performance and hopes to be able to play it for Laboon when they reunite. Brook shares this recording with Luffy, prompting everyone who survived the Thriller bark to sing along, thus starting the wonderful sequence known as Bink's Sake, or Bink's Brew for you dub watchers. This was a long lead up to finally begin to touch on the musical portion of this music-based video, but this was all necessary because Bink's Sake, while being a short sequence in the grand scheme of things, holds a lot of value in its subtext. Inviting everyone to sing along, the anime version even featuring sing-along lyrics for the audience, Brook plays a sea shanty that not only details a condensed version of his own character arc, but also shares the core themes of adventure and friendship through tragedy that is so prevalent throughout One Piece. Flashing between the rambunctious partying of the Straw Hats and the melancholic final performance of the Rumbar Pirates, Bink's Sake tells the tale of a pirate crew setting out on an adventure, saying goodbye to their hometowns and familiar locations to challenge the sea. But the sea proves dangerous, with any breath being your possible last when the sea decides to challenge you back. But no matter who you are, everyone ends up in the same place regardless, because after all is said and done, you'll become a skeleton. So spread your tale, spread joy, spread laughter, spread fun, even to those you will never meet again, because the memories will remain. As the song heads into its final refrain, we get a final look at the Rumbar Pirates. Slowly, each member of the pirate crew starts dropping dead, until the performance is just a quartet, then a trio, then a duet, and finally, a solo. With Brook and his piano accompaniment being the only part of the song remaining, until that too has to come to a stop. As Brook's flashback finishes, he accepts Luffy's offer, finally joining the crew and wrapping up our Thriller bark adventure. This scene works on a multitude of levels. Of course, there's the surface level stuff, like the musician's backstory being primarily told through song, but when we get into the lyrics, it just becomes stellar writing. The story being told throughout Bink's Sake reflects not only Brook and the Rumbar Pirates, but the Straw Hat Pirates themselves, all of whom have had to suffer through their own immense tragedies just to get up and decide that they will continue to spread joy and help those in need. It's a phenomenal summation of the series that just so happens to line up with the character that this song formally introduces, sandwiched into what a lot of people would consider to be one of the more forgettable arcs of One Piece. I remember when I first watched this segment, I was completely blindsided by just how much it managed to stick with me. A tragic, but remarkably hopeful all things considered story, accompanied by a song that echoes the exact themes that One Piece is all about, and all of this is diegetic. In the world of One Piece, this is a common sea shanty, one of the most popular on the Grand Line. Luffy even says as such when he first hears it being played by Brook. In a series full of remarkable character themes and even more remarkable non-specific background tracks that a whole community can recognize based off of just a few notes, this is the song that holds a special place in my heart. What else can I say? Hearing the drums of liberation will always be an exciting time as you're watching, but when I hear this song and its narrative significance, I almost start to tear up. And it's not like One Piece lets you forget it either. Oda keeps it around. After its introduction, Bink's sake would continue to pop up in several incredibly plot-heavy moments. It's a perfect reminder of what One Piece is all about. It's like reacquainting yourself with an old friend that passed away years ago. And this song is first introduced with Brook. What better way to introduce a song than with a musician? And what better way to introduce a musician than in one musical scene? And if you think that my channel is getting better, then why not subscribe to RVRocks and ring the bell, like this video, and comment your thoughts on Bink's sake, Brook, One Piece, and the One Musical Scene project. Once again, shout out to Nando v Movies for doing these collabs. They're a great way to get exposure to smaller creators and always a great deal of fun to work on. I love the sense of community that comes from these, and I look forward to doing it every year. The community really is the best part of these large collabs, so I look forward to any responses, so please comment down below or hit me up on Twitter at RVRocks. But before you do any of that, I have been RVRocks, and thank you so much for watching. See ya!